All right, so last class we talked about adding and subtracting polynomials. Now we got to talk about multiplying polynomials, which we have been multiplying earlier this year when we've been distributing. But now instead of distributing just one number, like we've been doing like 4 times x plus 5. And we know we distribute the 4 and we do times 4 times 4. But this time, instead of just times one number, we can do 2 numbers times 2 numbers. So we're going to draw a box to keep us organized to know what should we be multiplying together and what shouldn't we be multiplying together. So if I look at number 1, I see on the outside, there's one term. And on the inside, there's an x and a plus 2, so that's 2 things. So this is how I know how big to draw my box. I'm going to draw a 1 by 2 box. So that means I'm drawing 1 box this way and 2 boxes this way. This is 2 boxes. Okay. So I'm putting this on the side with 1. And I'm doing these separate. We know we're going to have x and then a plus 2. And we're multiplying. So we are using our exponent rules where, when I'm multiplying numbers, I multiply the big numbers and I add the exponents. So we know when it says x, that's really a 1x. So for this box, I should be doing 3x squared times 1x. So I know I should be doing 3 times 1. If you don't know what 3 times 1 is, you would type that in the calculator. But 3 times 1 is 3. And then I look at how many x's do I have. Well, I have x to the 2 and then x to the 1 power. We know there's 1x right there. So 2 x's and 1x, that's going to be x to the 3 power. Okay. And then I multiply in the other box. So now for this box, I'm doing this 3x squared times, what's up here, a positive 2. So I'm still doing the same thing. I'm multiplying the big numbers and I'm adding the exponents. So big numbers is 3 times 2 is 6. And I have 2x to the 2 here, but no x's over here. So that means I have x to the 2 because that's how many x's there are in this box. And it's a positive. And can I combine these together? No, we learned on Friday, last class, that you can't do an x to the 3 with an x to the 2. So I'm just going to write my answer. Final answer is 3x to the 3 plus 6x to the 2 power. Okay. So this is what a 1 by 2 box looks like. What about a bigger box? So in the next question, I have 2 things. I have a 2x and a negative 1, so that's 2 things. And in this box, or in this parentheses, I have 2 things, an x and a positive 8. So I need to make a 2 by 2 box, which is going to be a bigger box. Okay, so I need 2, so I draw a line down the middle. 2 this way and 2 this way. Okay. So I'm going to put 2x minus 1. It doesn't matter which side you put it on, but I have a 2x here and a negative 1. Those are my 2 terms. And then on the top, I have an x here and a plus 8 here. Okay, so this is how we keep ourselves organized. Which of these things should I be multiplying together? So this helps keep us organized. So in this box, we're doing the 2x times what's up here, 1x. So I multiply the big numbers. 2 times 1, that's 2. I have an x here and an x here. How many x's is that? 2 x's. So that's x to the 2 power. X to the 1, x to the 1. Okay, great. Next box. In this box over here, while I'm doing this side, which is 2x times positive 8. I multiply the big numbers. 2 times 8 is 16. How many x's? Well, just the 1x in this box. Okay. Next row. Down here, I'm doing negative 1 times, what was up here, a positive 1x. So I multiply my big numbers. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. How many x's are in the box? Well, there's no x here, 1x here, so just an x. And last box down there. not green, not orange. This one. Okay, down here I got -1 times, what's up there? A positive 8. Multiply by big numbers, -1 times 8 is -8. How many x's? No x's, so I just leave it -8. Okay, so after I do that, I can add some of these together, which are the things that have like terms. So this is the only x to the 2, so I can't add that with anything. But I have an x here and an x here. I can add those together. So we're going to do -1x plus 16x. You would type that in decimals, -1 plus 16, and you would get positive 15x. And so we have to write all of this out, so I know I'm supposed to write this first. So I have 2x squared. I got this thing that I just figured out, the 15x, and then this -8 at the end. And that's my answer. Okay, let's do another example. So, how many terms do I have? So I have 2 terms in the first parentheses, 2 terms in the second parentheses, so I need to make another 2 by 2. Big box. Okay, so I'm going to put on one of the sides, I got 6x minus 1. And on the other side, I have a 6x plus 1. Okay, so we're multiplying our big numbers. And then we're saying how many x's. That's how we figure out our exponent. So for this first box, I'm doing 6x times 6x. So my big numbers are 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Again, if you don't know that, type it in the calculator. That's fine. And then how many x's? Well, I have 1, 2 x's. So x to the 2 power. Okay. Next box, I have 6x times a positive 1. Multiply the big number. 6 times 1 is 6. How many x's? Just one of them in this box. That was a positive 6, so I'm going to put plus. Next box, we have a -1 times a positive 6. Multiply your big numbers. -1 times 6 is -6. How many x's? Just the 1. And then in the last row down there, we got a -1 times a positive 1. -1 times positive 1, we multiply our big numbers, is -1. How many x's? None of them, so don't write an x. And then I'm figuring out what can I add together. Well, I can add my x terms again. We're adding those up, so -6 plus 6. -6x plus 6x is 0x. If I get a 0x, do I have to write that as part of my answer? We learned no, we do not. So I don't need to write this. So the only thing I'm writing is my x squared, so 36x squared, and my -1. And that's my answer. Okay. Now in this one, I only see 1 parenthesis. So how can this possibly be still using the box? Well, this little 2 up there means there's 2 of these parentheses. So that means if there's an x plus 3, I can write another x plus 3 in parentheses next to it. And now I see, oh, there's 2 terms in there, so 2 by, oh, another 2. So I'm still drawing a 2 by 2 box. Do not just do, oh, squared and squared. No, do not do that. That's not what this 2 means. Okay. So I have my x plus 3 as my 2 terms and another x plus 3. Okay. So first box, we know this is a 1x and a 1x. So 1x times 1x, we're doing multiply the big numbers. So 1 times 1 is 1. How many x's? Well, 1, 2 x's, so x to the 2. Okay. Next box over here, we got a 1x times a 3, a positive 3. Multiply the big numbers. 1 times 3 is 3. How many x's? Just the 1. And that's positive, so I'm going to put positive in front. Okay. Down here we got a positive 3 times a positive 1x. Multiply that. 3 times 1 is 3. How many x's? Just the 1. And then last box over here we have a positive 3 times a positive 3. Multiply our big numbers. 3 times 3 is 9. Positive 9. How many x's? None, so don't put an x. And then we're combining our like terms. Here's our like terms, our x and our x again. So we're doing 3x plus 3x. So 3 plus 3 is 6x. And we write our answer 1x squared plus the 6x we just got plus 9. And that's our answer. Last example. Now in this one we got to be careful to figure out how many terms there are. In this one there's 2 terms in the first parentheses. Times how many are in the second one? 1, 2, 3 things in the second one. So we need to make a 2 by 3 box. So we need to make a bigger box this time than the one we just were doing. So 2 by 3. It does not matter if you do your 2 this way or 2 this way. Either way, you still get the same thing. Okay. So in this one, it matters what you put on which side. I have to put my 2 terms on the side that I made with 2 boxes. So I have a 3x and a negative 2. And then I have my 3 terms I got to put on the side with 3. X squared plus 6x minus 4. And we still do the same thing. We're still multiplying. So 3x times, we know that's a 1x squared. So multiply the big numbers. 3 times 1 is 3. How many x's? 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3x to the 3. Okay, in this second box we have 3x times a positive 6x. Multiply your big numbers. 3 times 6 is 18. How many x's? There's 2 of them. So I put x to the 2. Okay, over here we got 3x times negative 4. Multiply our big numbers. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. How many x's? Just the 1. Okay, I'm running out of colors. Here we go. Bottom row, we got negative 2 times 1x squared. Multiply our big numbers. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. How many x's? Just the x2. Okay. I really am running out of colors. Okay, so next box, negative 2 times positive 6x. Multiply our big numbers. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. How many x's? Just the 1. Okay, and last box, we have a negative 2 times negative 4. We multiply our big numbers. That's a positive 8. And no x's, so don't put an x. Now this time when I go to combine my like terms, we need to combine carefully because I have 2x squareds this time. So I can do negative 2x squared plus 18x squared. I can add those together. When I type that in decimals, I'm just typing negative 2 plus 18. And I get 16x squared. But I can also combine my x's right there. For negative 12x plus negative 12x. And I get negative 24x squared. Not x squared, just x. Okay. So when I go to write my final answer, my biggest exponent was x3. So we have 3x3. What was my x2? The 16. So plus 16x squared. My x was negative 24x. And my regular number plus 8. That is my answer. the biggest missteps, make sure you're drawing your box big enough. Make sure you multiply the big numbers and then figure out how many x's, which means add the x's, okay? Other than that, you guys are good to start the formative.